5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the 30 to Life podcast, where we break stereotypes, build legacies, and help others along the way. It's your boy Mookie.
And your favorite color in the world, brown.
And thank you for tuning in to another episode of 30 to Life. It's been a couple weeks, guys. We're so appreciative of your patience, as we navigate this thing called life. And just a lot of things are going on in this world. So if you're going through tough times, keep your head up like your nose is bleeding. It's tough. So, just keep moving forward. And, we created this podcast really to motivate others, to inspire others, to break stereotypes, build legacies, and of course, help others along the way. So Brown, it's been a couple of weeks. How are you doing? How's everything? We just celebrated a birthday.
Yeah, birthday,
45,
Father's Day.
Father's Day. We forgot about Father's Day. Dang.
Dang. Birthday, Father's Day.
Juneteenth.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was all on the same weekend.
All
bro.
in the same thing, man. It was a busy couple of days. But it was much needed getaway from just the everyday
from the family.
well, that's kind of true in some sense, because you waking up with kids every morning and not getting a full night. I got 3 full nights of sleep with nobody waking me up in the morning, nobody crying. It was beautiful, bro. It was beautiful. I think that was the most, with exceptions to spending a lot of quality time with my wife. I think that was the most favorited part of the trip.
So did it feel like you, like when y'all were married before kids?
Yes. It was amazing, bro. It was amazing.
So would you want to stay in that moment for like 2-3 years and then have
no. After the second day, we both was like, all right, we missed our kids. Like, it's time to go back. Like, I think we just needed 48 to 72 hours.
48
and that was
hours.
It. That was, we didn't
one
really need
overnight. Just an overnight. Yep.
Yeah, even that. Like that's just something. I think that is important for all of us parents out there, because breaks are needed. That to wake up and not have nobody asking for nothing, nobody crying. Oh man.
Yes. Yeah. You definitely need a date night. You need overnight and just do something so you can refresh, right? And focus on you for a day or two. So I'm with it. We do it too, so it's definitely always needed. Just more find the time.
But your mother-in-law watches. Your mother-in-law watches your daughter, right?
Well, she's in daycare.
Oh, so when she's in daycare, you guys do stuff.
Yeah, well, because I have the remote flexibility sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes we just do random stuff sometimes
cheat codes
and stuff. Nah, no cheat code, man. No cheat code. I'm trying to get the cheat code, but I'm still not there yet. I'm still at the interest of the Matrix. So, but yeah, I wanted to we're talking about parenting, and the amazing parents that we are, our dads. And you wrote your first children's book, Daddy's Weekend.
Yeah.
And it represents a lot. So can you tell everybody a little bit more about Daddy's Weekends?
No problem. Yeah, so this book has been in my head for a very, 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 very long time. And one day, a couple of years ago, maybe like 2 years ago, I decided to, I just got that burst of inspirational energy to get the process started. So I called one of my friends that I went to school with, and I knew he was a working artist and loved his work that he's able to create. So I hit him up, worked out a deal, paid for it, and got the process started. And how I did it was essentially I had already had the words written, and I had everything pictured out exactly how I wanted it. So I literally just sent him page by page descriptions of how I wanted and the colors I wanted. Because I knew exactly what I wanted. I just didn't know how to draw it the way I knew he would be able to draw it. So anyway, I sent him page by page. And then he said, okay. Then, it took him about a little over a year just to get everything done. And I will say that I did not expect it to look as good as it did. He did exceed my expectations in terms of the art. Yeah. And so long story short, the book is about a little girl who sees her father on the weekends. And yeah, and at that time they have is special, and then the father really uses the time wisely to teach her things that he would normally teach her throughout the week, but he has to condense it in the weekend. And then really the father is just, just like your average father who just wants the best for his child. And at the end he has it a little, as you it's not really said, but he has a little emotional experience walking to the car, dropping his daughter off, because every time he drops his daughter off, and this is actually true to me, like every time I used to drop my daughter off, I felt sad because I knew I had to wait another weekend to see her. So yeah, so that's what the book is about. It's a really quick book, great book. The book is really designed to teach the children how to convey their voice with meaning. So it's a lot of exclamation points, a lot of excitement. And yeah, some vocabulary in there that all children, I think, should start learning, which is, for example, a legacy and royalty. Really trying to make a bridge back to, or make an interest to get a bridge back to our African ancestry and our African spiritual roots. So yeah, it's a deep book. It might come across as not as deep on the surface, but there's a lot of levels and layers to the book that I incorporated into it.
Love it, bro. No, it's a great book. The illustration is great. I got a copy right here. So for everyone to see it right here, get it. It's beautifully illustrated. And I guess one of the things I was thinking of, like, for fathers who, like, get this book, what do you want? What is this book trying to say to them?
Yeah, so it's trying to say that use your time with them wisely. Like I know that we have a lot of distractors, being men in general, and I had to say this to myself, like, even though I have a lot of work to do, I want to make sure that I still carve out specific times of my day to instill certain things within my daughter. So for me, like, meditation is big, or just positive thinking. And even yesterday I could say my daughter runs track, and she has this thing where she just says she can't does it, and so I'm teaching her fixed mindset versus of having a fluid mindset. So like little things like that, like use those opportunities to teach and use them wisely and use them intentionally, because even though they might not come across as if they're absorbing the information, I'm finding that they ultimately are. They just don't realize that they're absorbing it because it comes back to them.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Nowadays, work, if you're married, you got your marriage life, you got work life, you got parent life, you got, outside of, just your regular hobbies and stuff that you do. And sometimes, you can lose focus. And I remember an episode before, someone that said you only really can do like 2 or 3 things great. So something is always missing out. And it may be like, the have fun stuff, right? You got to lose that, your hobbies, and you focus on your marriage, focus on your parenting, you focus on work, but you gotta be intentional and focus with your time, especially with your kids, because the kids don't remember what you say, they remember what you do, right? Mm-hmm. Like those experiences and that time and what you do with them. And I see that more so now, even with my daughter, just like, the things that I do, she just like mimics and follows and stuff. And it's like, you have to be cognizant of that. And I think it's really, really important. So yeah, I think that's a great takeaway. And you learn that obviously as you get older and older. But once you learn it, like, you start making those changes right away.
Yeah, it's interesting because even the fact that you said they look at everything, that right there, if you don't have children and you're not going to get this, but when you do, you'll automatically see, because they're literally looking at every everything you do, and you don't realize that they're looking at you sometimes because you're so into whatever you're doing. But a lot of things we do is habitual, so you're not even cognizant of the things that you're doing. For instance, I didn't realize how much I chuckle after I speak sometimes, and so now I noticed that he started doing that. I was like, I don't want him to do that. So like little things like that, like it's, you really have to pay attention to.
Yeah. They definitely, and they learn so fast. It's scary how fast they learn.
Yeah.
With certain things, and they could easily pick up your bad habits if you're not careful, and then they have to unlearn what they learned by watching you doing, and you're like, where did you get that from? And then you'd be like, dang, I didn't even realize I do that and stuff. So because I know me, like I'll fix a plate of food. Sometimes I'll wait like 30 minutes and then eat it. And then my daughter's like, oh, I eat it later or something like that. I'm like, oh man, like I got to eat right away. So she knows you're supposed to eat right away. So it's small things, but it's just like they pick up on everything, and they will mimic you.
Yeah.
They definitely will mimic you. So you said that it took a year to work this out and everything. Can you take us behind like the logistics for people who may want to write a children's book as well, or a book in general?
Yeah, so you can actually pump these things out fast. Like that's what I was going to say. Like having at least even an ebook, or even just going through the whole Amazon KDP process. To me, there is no reason why nobody should have at least some type of literary work of art out there, because the ease of creating these things is just actually phenomenal. So like I actually, after this, like I have a whole lot more ideas that I want to bring forth and bring out because of the ease of this. Like now I have a complete understanding of what this process is, and it's gonna be a problem. But anyway, long story short is it took a year because you sometimes you have an idea in your head and you want it as perfectly, or I'll speak for myself, I want it as perfectly as I want it. Like even with like the afterness of the book, like how it is right now, I'm not completely happy with it. Like there are things that I want to change. But long story short is a lot of iterations, a lot of patience with the illustrator, because I know he had other projects that he was working on. So in the detail, I didn't realize the detail that went into actually illustrating and illustrating somebody else's vision at that. So that took a while. And I would say that taught me a lot of patience, because I didn't realize that it took a lot of detail, and that detail takes time, and that time takes patience. And I could have all this creative energy, and I want to move now, and I want to network these things now, and I have these opportunities to do now, and it's like, no, slow up, because I need to get this right. And I know, and I had to keep telling myself, my time will come. Just be patient. Just be patient. Just be patient. So there was a lot of internal things going on in there. And I will say, like, this whole process taught me a lot, but mostly to be patient and to be intentional with my time.
Yeah. The patience is always key. Obviously you have to keep on taking actions toward whatever your goal that you have, but like knowing that, like they say all the time, Rome wasn't built overnight, right? It took brick by brick, or no different than the pyramids or anything that you are creating. It takes time. So it's definitely, you have to continue being focused and intentional with your time. So those are a great points as well. Yep.
We even noticed that from the podcast, right? Like we had this original intention of what the podcast would be and will be, and we're still not even where we want to be. But I think that it took us a long time to get to even to this point. And I think that's with anything that you're trying to build from scratch.
Yeah. It's a perfect example with the podcast, because we started one, I guess, brand. We had branding a little different previously, and then we evolved from there, and now we figure out how we want to impact the world and so on and so forth. But it's patience with that as well. And for all our listeners listening right now, appreciate your patience too, because we have changed in many ways and improved, and you've been along that journey with us as well, right? You saw different renditions of the podcast, and us going to timely topics to really focusing on building a business, wealth building, legacy, all of those things that are important in our community that we felt that we needed to address each and every episode, because we do care about the term 30 to life, right? Improving in each and every way. And sometimes it's hard wanting to do that, because Brown, me and you was talking about, like, our older episodes, like with the buzzworthy topics, or click worthy topics, people gravitate to that more than you talking about how to increase your income or how to build a business or anything like that. And you look at it, you're like, what? Why is that more important than this? And it goes back to being patient, right? And believing in your vision and stuff like that. And you going through, you're building, your first children's book took a year. I know you already wrote it. You already wrote the word. So you're like, okay,
let's get
in 2 months, like I should be done and stuff like that. So, having patience, right, is important, right? And also, having that roadmap, that game plan to what that's going to look like. So, all wise advice to give to people and stuff like that. So you said Amazon. Amazon is changing the game in terms of digital books in general. So how has that experience been, just working with them?
Like the process, they have it down. That's why I said that there's literally no reason why nobody should have any type of literary artwork or literary information, ebook, free ebook, whatever it is. Like, they have the process down to a T. And I know that they bought a company that actually did it, but still it's theirs, and they have the process down. So all you really do is you have your manuscript, you upload your manuscript, you have a book cover, you upload the book cover. And I mind you, I went on YouTube to look up all of this prior. So I mean, I literally had to, I wrote down step by step, so it made my life easier on the back end, so I'm not figuring a whole bunch of things out. But anyway, long story short is, you go online, you upload all these files, and they process everything. My recommendation is to copyright it prior to uploading it. So that's what I did. I got everything copyrighted prior to uploading, and I got it copyrighted under my LLC. And I did that because, just because, really, so this is my first time actually doing it. So I can't even say this is like, I can't even tell you like exactly all the benefits of it, but I just followed the advice of someone who advised me to put it under my business's LLC. So I did that, and everything was literally the easiest thing. It took less than a day to upload it, but I just had to have the files.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So technology once again has made things much easier. Before you had to go through someone else, and they had to be the gatekeeper for you to be able to create something like this. And now you can tell this story through your life experience to impact other fathers and mothers throughout this entire world, right? Because it's global at this point. So one thing I want to ask is, like, your daughter, like, when she read the book, like, what was her thoughts on it?
No, she. So my daughter is at that age where she's like almost 13. So even if I like go to give her a hug or a kiss, she's like, get away from me. So she looked at it, she said, "Oh, I didn't know you printed it out." And then she read it, then smiled, and then put it down and went on the phone. But I will say this though, I'm happy that a version of it is going to always forever be on Amazon, because my whole goal of the book is for her to look at it as an adult, and for her to kind of peel back the layers, like, because she'll know me more, and then she'll read the words and understand what I really meant, because I had been teaching her these things on the weekends all the time. So in reality, if nobody ever buys the book, I don't care, because the book is for her anyway. So yeah.
No, I love that. Yeah. At that age, preteen, teenager, right? Like, you don't care about nobody, right? Like, But as you like, when it was it like you would say like 23, 24, 25, you start like, oh, my parents did this, my parents did this. And then when you're 30, like, oh, now my parents did this. So that would be interesting to see, like, oh wow, like, the experience, especially. And then when you have kids, then you're like, oh wow, this is it's not as easy as it thought or whatever like that. So that's definitely something that's important. And you're creating something for her that's timeless. And for your son and your family, friends, everyone who knows your experience, they read this, they see this, it's something that's in history now at this point, right? And just creating a family legacy or artifacts really of like your experience, and it's like printed forever, like it can't go anywhere at this point. So it's good, because I was thinking like for like our parents, not necessarily our parents, but our parents, like it's hard to find stuff about them, right? Unless it's really hard. Right. Like pictures, some of the, like I was going through old like photo albums, and like the pictures are like destroyed, right? Just because they used to have that film over it and stuff. So, newspaper clippings are starting to like, get wither and stuff like that. So it's like, now today, like it's so important to document your experiences, and like stuff like this, that are beautifully done, right? You can not only does it impact, your family, but also, everyone who reads it. So, you did a great job with this, bro. So appreciate what you're doing. And, you're redefining the Black experience. You're doing it right now with this, and it came from a vision, and now it's like a reality now, right? So, you can help others do the same thing with their stories that they've been thinking about. Because a lot of times we have a lot of stuff in our head, but we never, put it to paper. So you've done that, and that's inspiring, bro.
Thanks, appreciate it, man. I mean, I will say all of this inspiration and ideas came from people that we interviewed on the show. Like I'll never forget the Black book company that we interviewed.
Mahogany Books.
Yeah, like all of that inspiration came from even starting the business, and even putting the book under the LLC, and just all of those things came from advice or from the show rather. Like, so
yeah no, it's true. It's true. A lot of things from the podcast, we are intentional with like the guests that we have on here, because they always fill a certain topic that's important in terms of your life, right? Whether that's, people, we had people reach out to us about homeschooling. So we had someone about homeschooling. We had people talking about us, hey, I want to start a business. So we had people tell you how to start a business. We had, people about books, right? Who did children. We had actually authors in here. We had, crypto individuals. We had, people who are investors, real estate. We had different topics on here. So if you're interested, and you can go through all of these episodes to help you move forward in whatever goals that you have. But lastly, Brown, how are you now? Just like no, but where can people find the book? Like, how can they get it?
Yeah. So just go to Daddy's Weekends on Amazon. Just type in Daddy's Weekends, the correct way, apostrophe S, weekends. It's the first one that comes up. Authors William P. Brown III, illustrators Andrew Stovikin. Both of us are from Jersey, New Jersey.
Shout out to Jersey
City. Yes.
201.
Exactly. Yep.
All right. So guys, everyone listening right now, check out the book. It's a great book. It's beautifully illustrated, and it's a real story. It's based off real life. And I think to all the fathers out there, happy belated Father's Day. But this one is really something that I think you should read to your kids, right? I think it has a lot of meaning behind it. And I think our kids just need to hear, stories, real stories by us, for us. So thank you guys for listening to another episode of the 30 to Life podcast. We really appreciate you, just your support and just listening to these episodes. So make sure you share, don't be stingy, give to the needy, and the people need to hear the 30 to Life podcast. It's your boy Mookie.
And your favorite color in the world, brown.
30 to Life. We out.